All right, y'all. Leland Live talking at M5. Here we go on a Friday, and things in the news today. We've got a guest coming in, a rare guest here on the show. We're doing a really what we call a radio town hall. It's just a chance for you to ask questions or talk to your congressperson. It's Gary Palmer if you're in the 6th district, which is a good portion of our listening area. But even if you're not, we'll be taking your calls after 4, and we'll have Gary over here to the home studio, and he'll be hanging out with us this afternoon. So get ready for that. I'm going to start with the weather because, of course, we've got a strong band of storms coming in tonight. Let me double check the latest on that real quick. The timing has gotten pushed back to, I guess, over the Birmingham City Center somewhere around between 8:30, maybe 9:30. And this isn't looking as strong as some of the later weather that we're going to get. What the strongest weather is really back to our west and East Texas and Oklahoma. Many of you got up today and saw that incredible tornado in Enid, Oklahoma, that did damage to a military base out there. But we're getting into a more stormy pattern, actually a little more seasonal for the springtime. And y'all know what to do. We'll wind up with potential tornado watches and warnings early next week, Monday and Tuesday possibilities as well. I think there's even maybe a later in the week possibility. A lot of rain, though. We sure need the rain. So we'll keep you up to date this afternoon. If they, some of this activity for tonight has already started to pop up on the radars. I was just noticing one of our forecasters just put a radar image up, and yeah, we got just west of Tuscaloosa, got a couple of storms starting to pop out as well. So we'll be watching the weather this afternoon, as well as talking about politicians and everything else. AJ, are you good today, man? Just checking on you before we get too far down the road.
Oh, yeah, I'm too blessed to be depressed, bro.
Really? AJ always says that when he's busy and he can't talk to me.
Okay. I thought I had sent the sheet,
saying.
and then I was like, oh, let me send the sheet out because I already know. That's what
send it to me yet?
Yeah, I'm about to send it to you now, so I was trying to do that.
We have this list that AJ has to get to me before each show, and he thought he had sent it. The other day I thought he had not sent it, but he had sent it. Sometimes we miscommunicate. But that's okay.
Yeah. So, a lot of times I do get kind of, because I'm trying to get the show set up, and Fridays is always like one of my busiest days because I'm trying to prepare for the weekend and
I got it, by the
stuff.
way. I just saw it.
Okay. So I'm scrambling, and I'm like, okay, I do my checklist to see all the stuff that I got accomplished, and sometimes I over check something, and I'm like, oh, I did not do that, and I was like, oh gosh, you try to keep things organized.
What happens is, to defend AJ, they keep AJ busier with non-paying work than the paying work,
right?
Because that's the way Cumulus works,
right?
All right, man. Let's do it. Iran so far. When the war started, AJ, I found it the other day because I was so fired up that weekend. I made a song list, and we never got to any of it. It's like, here, we need to put these songs in the show that week. And then we got used to it being in the news every day, and here we go again. More talks this weekend, potentially. Witkoff and the gang are heading over on a plane maybe tomorrow. That's a long flight. The Pakistanis are begging us to keep meeting. The Iranians don't even know who speaks for them right now. They're fighting it out on the streets. And I heard a remarkable report earlier today about what they're using to hold their people back from more riots and more street protests and any kind of internal uprising. They have brought in these militias that are not Iranians. Now, the IRGC, for example, has the manpower to hold back their people, but some of them have bailed, some of them have quit, they're not getting paid, some of them have just gone into hiding, they've taken off their uniforms. So to maintain control, just like thug nations will do, the Cubans have done this in the past. They'll bring in Venezuelans, the Venezuelans will bring in Cubans, the Iranians have brought in some Arab militia groups. They have these proxies all over the region, in Yemen and of course, in Lebanon, and they had some in Gaza that they got gone. And there are other smaller groups across Iraq, groups that we wouldn't even know the names of. So they've got access to a lot of personnel to come in. And what the people are reporting out is that they've got these roving bands of Arabic-speaking sort of militia types that are threatening the civilians in Iran not to leave their homes. Or if they see any sign of protest, they try to put it down and set an example thus the executions that they routinely plan. And that's not out of character for this thuggish regime. They've been that way since they were founded. They came into power on a lot of brutality, killing and slaughtering their own citizens, taking our people hostage. They just mean, y'all. So what the Persians really resent about that is they don't speak Arabic. So one or two of the reports we got today from exiles that are here that still have deep contacts there and are getting information out is that these guys are coming down the streets in these roving bands and yelling instructions at people in Iran in Arabic. And they don't speak Arabic. These are Persians. And it's causing mass confusion and mass fear. But you get a sense that there's a boiling point or a tipping point coming on the ground. Now, as far as we're concerned, we've maintained the same position for a week. We've got control of all of the Iran's economy right now, and we're continuing to pursue that. In fact, I think some new sanctions were even mentioned today, and it's really that pressure that has been, of late, the most effective on what's left of the regime. So if you had to say anything about where we are now, and if you think about it logically, okay, so it may be, and I'm gonna sort of meet this out. I'll ask Gary about this today because our congressman probably has some intel from Congress or the way they're thinking, at least there. But the blockade of the Iranian economy has always been something that's been discussed as an option to put pressure on the regime. We've talked about Karg Island since the 80s. It's been a weak point for them, and it's odd in that they have their own choke point, which is this one island that produces 90% of their oil, and yet the world has a choke point, which is the Strait of Hormuz. So Iran has game played being able to threaten the strait, and as we learned from the Department of War briefing today, all they've got really are some fast boats that are hard to discover and some guys with AKs. So they're basically Somali pirates at this point. Except all the Somali pirates are here now making money off leering centers. So they gave up the business, and now the Iranians are taking over that stuff. So somebody described it as trying to find a Boston whaler. If y'all know what that center console boat looks like, the size of it. If you've ever gone down the coast, you've seen boats like this. And some of these cigarette-style boats that are pretty large to us, but small for a Navy. And trying to spot one that launches off the coast anywhere from around Jacksonville, Florida, all the way up to New York. That's the size of the coastline that we're trying to keep an eye on. And we've got a lot of Navy assets for the first time in history. We've got 3 aircraft carriers in the region. That's amazing. So we're keeping the pressure up. But they've still got these bee attacks. It's not a bear. We're fighting little bees. And basically it's terrorist tactics. And that's just enough to keep commerce slowed down because of the threat. I've given you the example over and over again. It's like a guy robbing a bank and he takes a hostage. It's just one guy with a gun. He's surrounded by a bigger police force outside the bank, but you're trying to preserve the hostages. So right now we've got the Lincoln, the Ford, and the H.W. Bush, all of those aircraft carriers in the region ready to do whatever on a moment's notice. And what we hope is it doesn't have to go kinetic. And here's the point I was trying to get to. The blockade has been probably in a lot of ways more effective on as far as pressure than even the bombing. The bombing took their toys away, took their ambitions away, and it took their offense away. It took their reach away, except for the strait. And now here comes the economic pressure that we've talked about again since the 80s of just blockading Iran and not letting them export or import. But if you think about it logically, we'd have never been able to do that if we'd have gone in with the blockade first. There are people that debate whether or not we should have even dropped a single bomb, but without taking out their capabilities, their missiles, their air power, their Navy, and of course their nuclear program, which the subject is the centerpiece of all this, we couldn't have done the blockade. But now we're in complete control to manage a blockade, which ultimately starving them of oxygen is probably going to be the thing that ends this regime, both on the ground and at the bargaining table. So there's a sequence to it. There's always been a sequence to it. In war, if you ever study any type of war gaming, the first thing you got to do is you got to blind your enemy. You got to take out their radar ability, and then you've got to take out their ability to be in the sky and dominate the air. Then, of course, in this case, we took out their Navy which limits a lot of their ability to project power, and then on and then their missile program. And they used what they had to bomb their neighbors, and that didn't do them any good. So we go into these talks with Pakistan. You remember how Obama used to say Pakistan? So anyway, so there's Pakistan is trying to keep us at the table. The market seemed to be, again, in a sort of waiting period. They've sort of priced in the calamity. The Dow was down. Let me see where they are right now. The Dow was down a little bit, about 100 points a little while ago. It's 117 in the moment, heading toward the close. Oil's actually down today, $1.67, about a point and a half, almost 2 points, percentage points. So gold is not skyrocketing. Oil is not skyrocketing. Just as I've told you the last few days, we don't like it. It sucks. Man, I hate paying $5 something for diesel, but it's not as bad as the Iranians wanted it to be. They thought they could starve the world and cause an oil shock. And this is not that. This is at best better prices than we had under Joe Biden. So there's that. It's because we're producing our own. And remember, sequencing. The Trump administration went about a lot of production capability and freed that up before they made this move. They've been planning. They've been thinking about this. With the Venezuelan move, our own domestic production being up, natural gas being up, now we are a seller to the world. That's what's keeping this price down. In the supply-demand equation, we increased our supply capacity to the world. And as one of our astute callers pointed out the other day, we've only got so much refining capacity, and then everything we pump, we might as well sell to the world because we can't get it refined anyway because of the limited number of refineries. Thank you, Democrats. Good job. In addition to undermining the country and making us all into a racist, divided Civil War position, what the Democrats have been trying to do to us for decades, they also really restricted our production capability in a lot of ways. We're coming back from that. The world's making a huge comeback. The markets themselves, without the tariff war and the rebalancing of trade and the introduction of new capital to our economy, this would have been a bigger stock market shock. So we kind of, in some ways, we put our helmet on before we went into battle. And the rest of the world was distracted with other dumb stuff. And this sequence of events is playing out exactly like it should have. We prepare our economy. We're prepared for the oil shock. We make the move that inevitably had to be made. And now we've got the blockade because of our military superior power to put the economic squeeze that sanctions and all the diplomatic machinations and everything that's gone on over the years have never been able to do. We've never been able to totally take them offline. And that's because they get around the sanctions by selling black market oil to China and wherever else. And we've cut that off. And that also cuts off China. Man, if some of y'all are feeling paranoid about it, just look at the big picture, and I'm here to paint that for you every single day. I hope it's a good weekend. We'd all love to get on with summer and not have to be thinking about this, and it has dominated the headlines. But, man, do we have other things to talk about, too, and we'll get to them one at a time as we go through the afternoon. We got airline bankruptcies to talk about. We've got a terror plot that was unveiled. The SPLC still getting what they've got coming to them today. I've got to get into some more of that here in just a little bit. And if you believe insiders, I'll give you this tease, and then we'll go to the break, and then we'll come back and line up some calls. By the way, if y'all want to call about random stuff and it's not for Gary Palmer, let's do that the first 2 hours. Then we can reserve our phone calls for whatever policy stuff we want to talk about with him in the second half of the show. But a lot of the insiders in Virginia are optimistic. They believe it could be a unanimous ruling against this Virginia vote that they took this week to redraw their districts, because they so blatantly violated the Virginia Constitution. Hello. Now, I think they've got a left-leaning Supreme Court. And nowadays, I don't trust the law to be followed. You got to look at the politics of the judges. Sadly, that's where we are in America right now. But there are a lot of insiders that keep repeating some of the buzz they're getting from the court, and this thing will be expedited, that this whole thing could have been for naught for the Democrats. Meantime, Florida has already called, DeSantis has already called their special session for next week, and they're going to go ahead and move forward to redraw the Florida maps, regardless of any kind of Virginia Supreme Court decision. They were planning on readdressing those maps anyway, so might as well do unto those who have done unto you. I don't know what, that's not the golden rule, but it's it's the plastic rule. All right, let's do it. 545-9950 is the phone number. Michelson Laser Vision, first up today. Dr. Mark, Dr. Jennifer, and that whole crew ready to help you see better with the miracle of LASIK technology. They did LASIK on me going on 7 years ago. By now, if you've listened for any length of time, you've heard me tell that story over and over. I'm still jazzed about it. It's good to be able to see. I'm looking out my window right now and I can see like a mile. And it's nice because before that, I couldn't see a foot beyond my face. When you get your distance vision corrected, sometimes you lose your up close vision. So I still need readers, or if something's super close or in low light, I'll use readers. But that's a nice trade off. At my age, I don't mind it. The technology, as I've told you over and over too, is only improved, and leave it to the Michelson practice being the first people to bring LASIK to Alabama to have the absolute latest technology. And it was a leap in what is possible with this kind of laser correction. When they put the Contura system online, it just exponentially changed everything. It was a whole industry game changer. And of course, they've had it online for a couple of years. So take care of yourself and see better, and do it with the people that are the legendary name in this practice all over Alabama. Michelson Laser Vision, downtown UAB Highlands, michelsonlaservision.com. Back here in just a minute. You surprised me, AJ. This is white boy workout music, man. This is some headbanging Allison Chains. What are you doing right now?
I mean, just trying to expand.
Hey now, hey now. Huh? What'd you say?
I said just trying to expand.
I like it, man. Sometimes I'm in the mood on the weekends. If it depends on what I'm doing, I will headbang, and then sometimes I'm like chill coffee music, bluegrass. You know what I'm saying? I think early in the morning I start off kind of chill with some of these acts I like. By the end of the day, it's that stuff just to keep me going. I'm telling you, especially when I'm out wrecking stuff in the woods. I got that cutter. I finally got the last hydraulic line all straightened out. That thing is a beast, AJ. It's a beast. I'm hell in the woods now. I've been destroying things all morning. Well, at least I put a good hour in. And that's the kind of music you got to play if you're wrecking some vegetation.
Right.
You put some Alice in Chains on. All right, let's talk about a couple other things. I guess, yeah, let me go ahead and take the SPLC story because that's kind of been the number two. Outside of the war and I guess the Virginia vote, that's been the other surprise of the week. So, and you knew it wasn't just going to end with a simple indictment. Now, these are serious charges, and we don't know any individuals that have been named. And over the years, I've gotten to know these names because you wind up covering these people. And I guess it goes without saying, you got to sort of give the caveat. This used to be a venerable organization that did legit civil rights work, but they have morphed into a real, like a reputation terrorism organization doing the bidding of leftists in this country. And they are in no way a charitable organization. They're just not. They're a political wing of the very leftist forces in this country, and they play offense and they cause damage. And they got caught funneling money around and manipulating the news cycle, mainstream media, their own donors. This organization has parked $700+ million offshore, yet they have a 501c3. I suppose it's a C3. They've got a nonprofit status that gives them great ability to raise money with that nonprofit status. So there are lots of calls today that I suppose it'd be the Treasury Department is within their reason to revoke that status. Now, it wouldn't necessarily shut the organization down because they have paid, they've been paid a lot of money by these gullible donors and these activists over the years that they kept some of it and used it for activism and put the other money in a giant trust fund down offshore. That needs to be looked into. They need a forensic audit because this is a fiduciary type story right now. It's criminal in nature. But there's more here, y'all. There's a lot more here. Now, Congress is calling hearings for next week. There are, lots of hue and cry to remove their tax exempt status. That seems like a technical foul compared to the egregious. They've destroyed lives. I'm convinced they put a target on Charlie Kirk's back, and he's dead now. And I think they have a role in it. I don't doubt that one way whatsoever in terms of the toxic environment they've created with their false narrative about our fellow Americans. It's just wrong. It is put it this way, and this is what I find ironic, even though they were funding some whatever's left of the modern day Klan. And here's the organization that sued the Klan out of business. And I was actually fine with that when they did it. That was great back in the 80s. But I'm telling you, their tactics are in some ways as vicious as anything the Klan ever did. They're not going around pulling people out of their beds at night and hanging them that I know of. That's some of the more egregious tales we hear from the past. But their effect of destroying lives and pressuring people and intimidating with the power of the government, the Justice Department working hand in glove with these guys, and the mainstream media made them extremely powerful. All they had to do was label. They were the label organization that gave hate groups, social media companies, the ability to deplatform and defund people. They gave maniacs with guns a target list to go out and cause violence. And you can paint a chronological picture of ways their information was used violently. And they didn't spare any words whatsoever in smearing some very good, decent people. So yeah, there can be no end to this investigation if you ask me. Congress ought to go at it. Justice ought to go at it. I mean, the agricultural Secretary of the state of Alabama ought to be over there knocking on their door. I mean, every investigative agency in the government ought to be looking into everything they've done until every rock is overturned. I'm not too confident that'll keep happening. Momentum wanes. They got a ton of money, and they're an organization full of lawyers, and they know all the tricks. They need, the good thing is they didn't get one of these favorable left-wing New York City or D.C. circuit judges. They're going to have to deal with the court here in middle Alabama. But anyway, that story continues to irk. I can just tell you this, just based on gut instincts of how patterns in the news go. We'll be talking about this for weeks. It will stay in the news for a while because people are now finally looking at something some of us have been screaming about for 20 years. I feel a little vindicated. So do a lot of people that were right about this group Back in a minute. Y'all stay tuned. All right, y'all. Let's keep going here on this Friday. Kind of cloudy and big storms on the way. We really need that rain. EcoView windows and doors. Speaking of the weather, keep summer outside when we get hot and humid and all nasty. You know, in the winter, I always give you that little wintertime test that it's easy. It's very unsophisticated, but you can go walk over by your window and stand next to your window, and you can feel that draft. I mean, you can absolutely know when you're losing money because that cold air is coming in. That means your heat's going out. It's the same principle in the summer. You just can't feel it as much. Here's how you know in the summer, you're just not comfortable. You get up at night and you're hot. It's the humidity in your house. You got the temperature down. It says whatever your favorite temperature is, but it still feels muggy. It's the humidity in your house. You don't have properly insulated windows. And EcoView can solve that in one big old installation visit. First, let them come over and give you an estimate. They'll do that for free and tell you exactly what they'll do for you. Becky Jackson has a 35% guarantee on their products. They really believe in what they do and stand behind those products, and they'll tell you they can save you 35% on your heating and cooling bills at EcoView Windows. Let them come help. Best products in the industry, best installers in the industry, best warranties, the savings. There could even be some tax implications on this. Everybody's got a sort of a different tax situation, depends on your house and all these other things and your income and all these things. So look into that and see if there are some credits that could also apply to make this even more cost effective for you. Heck, it saves the wear and tear on your air conditioner system because that thing's running trying to keep up with your little leaky windows, man. Let's get comfortable with EcoViewWindows.com, EcoViewWindows.com. Man, we got so much just in different directions to deal with this afternoon, too. Here's a story I haven't gotten to this week, but it's become a pretty healthy debate. Spirit Airlines is going to the federal government. Y'all know all about Spirit Airlines, and they want a bailout because they've already gone through, I think, 2 bankruptcies. And the thing that they're blaming the latest problems financially on is the high price of jet fuel that rocketed up with, of course, the war situation in Iran. And Trump has been open to allowing a bailout of this airline. And that has irked people in all directions. It's funny, the folks that are on the same side of opposing this, for one, you've got lefties like Elizabeth Warren, who will grandstand over corporate bailouts, and that's a pretty good subject for her, I suppose. But you've got some conservatives that say that, look, these people have businesses. They've been bailed out twice through the bankruptcy courts. They have to be able to build a company that can anticipate these fuel shocks. And so there's a philosophical debate going on over whether the government can continue to bail out these big companies that get in trouble. In the meantime, if you look at the practical side of it, if you're going to debate the whole thing all the way around, the practical side of it is I forget the exact number because I read the story like several days ago when this first started coming up, but it's like 12,000 immediate jobs that would be lost in that industry for this low-cost airline. The thing is, if you're trying to run an airline the way they run Spirit, and I've never flown Spirit. I did fly Frontier recently. They just had the best route, and it wasn't even just the price. The price wasn't all that great, really, but they absolutely had the flight I needed to get to New York City the last time I made that trip, and had to go see my grandson, and it just worked right out. So I took it. It wasn't that bad. There was some stuff that was a little low rent and kind of odd for what you're used to with the airlines, but they treat us all like cattle anyway. I don't care how much you pay. So you still got to go through the airport no matter how good the airline is, and that's even worse than some of the Spirit stuff. So that debate will spill into next week. I don't know if any relief in the fuel pressures will change it. I suspect they probably had other financial issues before the fuel costs did them in. But the main reason, AJ, I would be for saving Spirit, and you probably can answer this for me, but I'm for the bailout for this one reason alone.
We're going to miss the fights.
I know. I'm going to see, he can read my mind. I'm going to miss all the fight videos, man. For the entertainment alone, if maybe we could come up with a way for Spirit to be able to charge maybe a pay-per-view, live camera pay-per-view on these waiting areas and even on the planes. And if we could watch it live, and I would pay for it. It's better than what I'm getting on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, they could make money that way. We'd still be entertained, and the government wouldn't have to bail them out. Perhaps, I don't know. I'm just being creative right now.
Or you know, it could be, you know, you have your tiers of when it comes to seats. You know, your seating, got your first class, main, economy, or whatever the tier is. Well, let's say you're at the bottom tier, or you're in a group that you will want to move up to, like maybe the top 3. Well, you have to fight to get to that.
Oh, it's like Hunger Games.
Right.
Yeah,
in order to
I
get
like
the
that.
better seat, the more leg room.
Yep.
Yeah. Because, I mean, if you're a champion, you deserve to be in first class, you know.
Or, you know, if you're fat and you take up 2 seats already, maybe you could fight it out to win those 2 seats, so then everybody kind of understands where you're going to be sitting on the flight and can work around
There
that.
you go.
And
There
then,
you
you
go.
know, pay to get the right to, or maybe we could just pay to watch, and these people sort it out just like Hunger Games.
Or just throw out like, say, hey, we're going to actually start feeding you on these flights. However, there is a caveat. Ha ha.
Right.
You're going to have to fight for your food.
Oh, it's on like Donkey Kong at that point. I mean, is this a little pack of peanuts, or are we going back to real?
It depends. Hey,
meals?
the more people you could knock out, you know, the more food rations you would get.
Somebody would
on
knock
Spirit.
a brother out for some Biscoff cookies. I'm telling you, drop an
Said
elbow.
I want 2 bags.
Yeah, I'd be with the atomic elbow, man. Give me the Biscoff. I'm like Dusty Rhodes up in there with the atomic elbow.
I mean, that's what Biscoff stands for, fight.
Yeah, it does. It's Italian for fight.
Yeah.
It doesn't even sound Italian. It's probably another language. Whoever Mr. Biscoff is, these people are rolling in money. They somehow got the market on airline cookies.
Yeah, they kicked
Well,
out Oreos. That's how big and powerful they are.
They beat back Nabisco and Ginger Snaps and all that stuff
Mm-hmm.
for the old nasty Biscoffs.
And
Actually, they're not bad.
They're not bad at all, especially with
if
some
you go in
coffee.
there.
Man, that's
Oh,
good. Yeah.
Now I'm craving one. Can you get Biscoff at the grocery store?
Yeah, they actually got the ice cream as well too.
Biscoff has ice cream,
Yeah, they did.
or is it Biscoff flavored ice cream, or do they have an ice cream brand?
No, it's a ice cream brand that use Biscoff cookies in the ice cream.
Oh, I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. Like the Oreo ice
Mhm.
cream and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, back to Spirit Airlines. I hope because if they don't survive, now we're down to Frontier for entertainment. But with the way today's culture goes, I mean, Southwest can bring it too sometimes. I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, now they're gonna start bringing. Well, I guess they used to, because there used to be a time where it was like a free fall for your seats,
Yeah.
and now I guess they went to assigned seating, which, you know, it kind of sucks. But I get it. But man, yeah, they should do like a free fall, like a gamble, and say, hey, if you want a window seat, yeah, you better fight somebody, and if you lose,
I got to fly in June. It's just a quick trip to go see my son graduate. I got to go back to that hellhole in New York City. I just dread it. It's just a quickie trip. I'm literally going up and almost coming back the same day. I think I'm coming back early the next morning. I just don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to be on a cruise. Did you see anything about Carnival this weekend? Let's just keep going with the travel theme. Carnival had to put out rules. We've gotten so coarse as society, people just don't have basic decency. They have to Carnival put out rules they're finding that their customer experience on some of their ships is just going straight to hell. People are deciding not to go because of just the other passengers. So they had to put out rules like you can't just bring a Bluetooth radio and play it anywhere on the boat.
Can I just say something? Because you know I'm a cruiser, and I appreciate you bringing the story up. But Carnival, if this is the case, right?
Yeah.
They put this on themselves. I'm sorry, they did.
Let's hear it. I want to hear it. Preach.
Because they branded themselves as the fun ship.
Mm-hmm.
That was their whole moniker.
Yep.
You know, it's all about having fun,
Right.
relaxing, and then they invited stuff like this to happen. You know, and then all of a sudden it got a little bit more rowdy and rowdier and rowdier, and then they became the Spirit Airlines of
Exactly.
the cruise
They're
world.
the Spirit.
Because they used to be the pinnacle. They used to be the one. I remember those old school commercials.
Remember Kathy Lee Griffin? In the
Yeah.
morning, in the evening, ain't we got fun?
They had those like late night, like, you know, paid programming ads. They used to come on and talk about how fun their cruise ships were and everybody's wearing all polos and Dockers and
Oh, not
you know,
anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. They barely wearing any clothes on.
Yeah, now the commercial, this dude's standing there with his belly out, like, get in front of me in the margarita line, I'll cut a bitch.
Exactly.
That's literally on their ad right now.
That is what they are. It's like you put this on yourselves. Now, don't get me wrong, I love me some Carnival, but you're setting all these rules, and it's like it's gonna take you're gonna have to hit a reset button.
Man, if you don't get diarrhea from the water system or all these other things that have been people falling off the ship, now you got to deal with other people. I mean, if they want to make this better, you know what they're going to have to do, AJ? Raise their prices. I'm just saying. It's the damn truth, and y'all know it. They got to. There's some snotty cruise line that I keep seeing. Some of this, I watch some of this British television, and this one's like they're trying to subtly say they're not Carnival, and it's like it's not Viking, or it may be, I don't know. It's like Ritz-Carlton Cruises, no children, and no casinos. They're like banning kids and casinos. It's like sail the seas in comfort and sophistication. And I bet their prices are 9 times higher than Carnival.
Oh yeah, you talking about the yeah, I know that cruise line you're talking about. Oh yeah,
it's either Viking. It's not Viking. It's one of these snotty.
It's the Ritz.
They're just letting you know up front, man. We keep the riffraff off the boat.
Yes,
they should just put that in the ad.
The cruise line where we tell you keep your shirt on.
No trashy people and unwanted cellulite.
We need to see your W-2 before you walk up in here. We need to see how much
credit scores only 750 and above. In fact, if you need credit, you're not allowed on the boat. Only cash paying rich people. The Ritz Cruises. We don't hang our damn towels over the balcony and leave our flip-flops outside the room door. Some of these Carnival rules, I should pull these up. AJ, I'm going to pull these up in the break. We're going to talk about them when we come back. They're like, you can't decorate your door on your cabin. Who in the hell's been doing that?
No, that is a thing. But see, here's the problem.
I've never heard of that.
Normally, like, people will decorate their door for
what?
Anniversaries and birthdays and, stuff like that. They make
What
it
does
fun.
anybody else on the ship care about your door?
It's just, but then people get to the point where they put, like, explicit stuff in there that you be like, hey.
The boom boom room.
Man, yes.
Don't.
Yes.
If the boat is a rockin', don't come knocking, putting stuff like that on the door. Is that what they're doing?
Images.
Right.
I mean,
are you serious?
It gets
I haven't been on a cruise ship in years, man. I saw it last week and I should have saved it. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. But they just said they're going to start telling customers straight up front. It's things like, I mean, I think I read in there, we do have a jail cell on the boat and we'll put you in there.
I don't think people realize that you can go to jail.
There's a prison on the boat.
On the boat, and you will stay in there either until you get to the next port or until the cruise is over. Because there's people that had warrants. They went on cruise ships and they got busted. People trying to sneak alcohol. Like, it's just it and then, like, drugs and all this stuff.
Oh yeah, because they don't want to pay $9 for the extra drinks or whatever.
Right,
they hit their minimum.
And they got like dog sniffing animals on the ship that will just go in the rooms and
for contraband.
Yeah, like, it's like, come on, like, people, y'all taking away the fun from everybody else. Can you just for 1 week or 3 days, however long you want to cruise, just detox. Stop the nonsense.
Yeah, just be quiet. Be quiet. Just get your thoughts together. They ought to just ban cell phones, just all the way around. Photographs. I would go on that cruise, an actual sailing ship with no kids, no casinos, and no phones. Just no electronics except for the motor that runs the boat. That's all we need. All right, y'all. We're going to talk more about this. I'm going to find those rules because it cracked me up. Express Oil Change, bringing you the show this hour. They've got a great promotion that they're running between now and the end of the year. I love it. And it's basically they're going to give $1. I'll say the end of the year, the end of the month. So about another week, they're going to give $1 for every oil change you guys go by and do to Children's Hospital. That's coming off their normal price. Don't you love it? Donation to Children's. You get to roll through there and get your oil changed in 10 minutes. We all need to do it anyway. How many miles do you have left? We don't even have to keep up. We're so lazy now, we don't even have to keep up. The little light tells us most of the time. But some of the older cars, check that sticker and get by there and pop in and see them. Especially if you're already in the system, they can track all that for you. Check on everything else while they're at it, and you're out the door in 10 minutes, and Children's gets $1. I love it. Express Oil Change, you probably know where there's one near you. You probably just drove past one. Look. Back in a minute. Leland Live. Y'all, Alabama Gold Refinery next up here on the show. I do appreciate Alabama Gold Refinery being a resource for this audience for so long. You know, there was a time, some of y'all probably been through this. You might have had some, some old piece you didn't need anymore. Where are you going to sell that? Who will give you real good value for it that you can trust? AGR is not there to rip you off. They're there to give you fair value, let you trade in your pieces for just, you can trade gold for gold if you want it in a different form that's sort of weighed and is more storable, or if you just want to sell it. They keep up with the daily spot prices, so they let you know what the rates are that day. And of course, if you're there to buy, it's the same principle applies. They've got a nice storage of different media, different, I guess, ways of holding gold, and you can do it in person, put it right in your hand, secure it yourself. I just love having this resource. We should all have a little bit of precious metal as a hedge against emergencies or inflation, or just to smartly balance out the things we own. It's Alabama Gold Refinery in Homewood, across from the Big Regions Bank. I call them AGR. That's what all the cool kids call them. Alabama Gold Refinery.com. All right, here's some of those rules they do, and I see all the calls coming in about it. They say that you've got to self-muster, and you have to be at your muster station, or they're going to kick you straight off the boat. I mean, most people go to that, right? You got to sit there and get the rules, right?
Yes. Well, I mean, you'd be surprised because a lot of times when people get on the ship, the first thing they do, well, some people will, because you can't really go into your room right away, is go find a place to get some food and to start drinking, or by the pool. You'd be surprised, like it'd be like 10 o'clock and somebody's
People go
already
straight to the drinks.
Yeah, and they're already wasted. But in order for the ship to actually leave its port, they have to do the muster station. So, and they will make sure you get it like before that ship leaves. They will notify to make sure, because you have to, they have to scan you and all the other stuff depending on the cruise line. And they if you don't do it, you gon' get off.
They're saying the new rules are to promote safety, not to ban. Because some folks say they were targeting black cruise people. I'm like, not all black people get on the cruise ship and do these things. I think it's just targeting the people that do these things, right?
Right.
Barring the consumption of drinks on the dance floor. You can't take a drink to the dance floor?
Man, but
they're banning marijuana.
Well, that's the obvious thing right there.
Yeah, sure. But I guess people have been hopping on the boat.
And that's what I was saying. Like, that's what the contraband comes in, because not only you talking about marijuana, but then people try to sneak alcohol.
Yeah.
And then they're like dumb and get on, like, do a YouTube vlog of their cruise, and then like showcase like, oh, I'm gonna stuff this bag of alcohol in my suitcase, and I'm gonna see if they're gonna find out. Like, and then you broadcast it.
They banned Bluetooth speakers and radios, you have to use earphones and headphones. Airlines are starting to have to do this too, because people just get loud.
Oh yeah,
they get in their own little bubble and forget how loud they are when they get their phone out.
My last flight, I sat next to someone. Either she was from Vietnam or something, but she was talking with FaceTime whoever she was talking to. He's driving, got a cigarette dangling out of his mouth, and she was like, "No, I was like, whoa." I was like, it's too early for this.
Oh gosh, let's go to Clarissa on line 4. We'll get a couple of calls in here real quick. Clarissa, what's up?
I guess I'm avoiding studying for finals this week, because I think I've called in every day this week. But I heard you guys talking about the cruises.
Yeah, you're in
and,
that business.
I wanted to call
yeah.
in. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that, us as travel advisors, we're matchmakers, right? So we get to know the clients. We get to know, because the thing I wanted to call in and say is fun is subjective. So what one family considers fun, another family, may not. Now, with that said, Carnival has come in and said, they're not going to do the expandable hand fans anymore. They're citing safety reasons because they expand, the pineapples on the doors.
I saw that on the rules. What's up with the hand fans? The little old school.
It's a popular dance to dance with the fans, but because the fans expand to such a large size, Carnival
they took
has
over the whole dance
given
floor.
the reason it's safety. Right.
Yeah, it's the song. It's Boots on the Ground.
Yes.
And it's
I feel so old right now. God, I feel white.
It's a Southern soul song that's it's a line dance that goes along.
So they whip out these giant like feather fans and start fanning themselves.
So basically, they'll get on. They get in this line dance, and then they'll be like, "Where are the fans at?" And they pop the fan. So
they just quit playing the damn song. But they're going to ban the fans anyway. I guess they would do it to whoever comes out.
They've also cracked down on some, particular decorations. So it's, I hate for anyone in the audience to think that, any of our suppliers would target anybody by ethnicity or anything like that, because it's certainly not true. Because, some of these decorations are lifestyle.
So, like, what kind of decorations?
Upside down pineapples.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Yeah, I'll let you Google that.
Is that a sexual reference?
I know it's a family
I know
show.
what that is.
But I say all that to say that really it's not that any one supplier is bad and others are good. It's that everybody has a different definition of what fun and relaxation is. And so
Yeah.
our job as travel advisors is to match the brand with the client. And that's really
gotcha.
where we build our business and our loyal clientele.
Good call, Clarissa. Good stuff. See, my definition is stay the hell away from all that. AJ, I just go off by myself. I won't be around anybody on my break. But I got one little friend that she goes with me and her little animals, and that's it. The rest of y'all leave me alone. Back in a minute.